Hello. Hello and welcome back. This is After the Greatness, day 5. And wow, what can I say? It has been a week, and today has been something. If you were with us live today for day 5 for Dare to Be Great 2024, you were a part of some deep conversations, and it was awesome. If you have not had the chance to join in, we had over 1,000 people by the end. We ended up hitting the goal. So thank you, all of you, for joining us throughout the week and people from all over the world. So I will say that if I can remember all of them, for those who were with us, or those who had registered, rather, just in general, just talking about those that registered in general. There were people obviously from here, from the United States, from Canada, also from the UK, from Iceland, Lithuania, Germany, Russia, um, Qatar, Australia. I'm trying to remember the others, but all over the world, we had people that were with us. And it was just an awesome experience. I had been scrambling scrambling towards the end. Also because there were some like speaker information that I didn't fully have yet, and I needed some of that information. So like up until the day before everything started, I was creating slicks, promos, like the stuff that I was sharing out there to say who was going to be coming up next to speak. I'd been creating all of that stuff up until that time. So I had been just scrambling, doing so many things. And then Sunday evening, I ended up doing open mic, and I did open mic with my good friend Keely out of New Jersey, and we were just preparing everyone for what we were going to be doing for Dare to Be Great, this virtual event that's for Dispatch by Dispatch. And I was mentally preparing myself as well because everyone started, except for today, everyone started at 8 a.m. And if you know me, I don't go to sleep early. I was a night shifter for years, and it stuck with me. I had a small stint and, of course, overtime on mornings sometimes where I did work mornings, but midnights was my jam, and it's still my jam. The problem, though, is that probably like a lot of you, your internal clock wakes you up, and mine wakes me up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning every morning. So I would be going to sleep at like 11, 11:30, maybe midnight, and then waking up at like 5:30, a quarter to 6 in the morning, and like, all right, here we go. We go and get my coffee going, get something to munch on, and DoorDash got a lot for me this week. For real. DoorDash got a lot for me this week. And there was one day that I was able to run downstairs really fast, and I think I made a sandwich or something, and then I came back up really quick. But either way, man, it was something. I do all of this from here. And I luckily had a few people that were able to help me out this week. So shout out to Juliet, to Keely, as well as Dawn for helping me bring in a few people. One of them, I did share the picture. One of them I had to do where I had two people at the same time, and it's not something that I've never done before. If you have attended some of the other Dare to Be Great conferences, my good friend Leah, who helped me with a lot of stuff in the beginning, man, both of us, we were both with like two different headsets with two different speakers at the same time, and just hoping and praying that they didn't finish at the same time. I did have one time that I had two people speaking and they finished right about the same time, and I tried to stagger them. Nope, they ended up catching up with each other, and they were parallel, just running, trying to get to the finish line together. I'm like, "No, damn it." But it worked out, it was fine. And Kevin, yes, they got some good tips. They did. I hooked them up, man. But also that pad thai was amazing. So, Fushi is the name of the place. Well done. Good, good food. Was eating there basically all week. Oh man. So I just want to run through some information. Also, talk about recap today. Um, and this week, really. Yes, Kevin, all worth it. Definitely worth it. And let's see, Gary says, time for somebody to get some sleep finally. Yes, yeah, definitely. But tonight is SmackDown, so I'm probably gonna be watching wrestling with my kids anyway. So tomorrow, tomorrow I'll get some more sleep. Amy says, I can't imagine all the hard work this took. Thank you for that, but also for everyone who took part. It was such a good time. A lot of stuff went into it, but such a good time. It was excellent. Um, also, as always, stuff that happens when you're doing things live is you will end up having sessions here and there where you've got technical difficulties, or you're trying to figure out those things. And some of the speakers were in the green room with me, and they would go, "I am so sorry." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. This is virtual." I tell people all the time, these folks are here because they want to be here. They want to hear what you have to say. So don't worry. If you end early, it's fine. If you go over, it's fine. If we start late, it's okay. Because again, these people are here to listen to what you have to say. That's what's awesome about doing this stuff virtually. And but sometimes the platform will do some wonky or weird things, and like a couple times people disappeared. Sometimes people disappeared, man. And wait, what? Michael says, sorry, I'm late. I was reading all of Kevin's emails. Well, I'm glad you got through them. Roxy says you did a great job. I appreciate you. Thank you for that. Yes, there were a couple times people were speaking, and it was more towards the end when they were talking that they just completely disappeared off the screen, and you could still hear the person, but it was just like they were just there, like a spirit or something, like a ghost. and and it was like I came back on screen, and I'm just, yep. Oh man, it was hilarious. But what can you do but laugh and troubleshoot? That's all you can do. And it's fine. I tell people all the time, people are like, "You're so calm." I'm like, "Well, what am I? I'm not going to get mad about it. It's fine. Like, we're working through it. It is all good." Plus, I'm trained, all the years in dispatch, I'm trained to be calm and patient. Now, I will say though, one of the issues that I had was I was trying to add my friend Keely on as a team member so that she would be able to go in and bring someone in when we had some of those sessions that were going on at the same time. Now there was an easier way to do it that I found afterwards, but I got a hold of support, and I will say shout out to Crowdcast support because within minutes they got it fixed and figured out. So thank you, and that's why I use Crowdcast and not doing it on other platforms. I won't say anything, but other platforms because they just do a really good job. And so I was really happy about that. So yeah, like always when you're doing stuff live, there is some stuff that might mess up, but you just stick to it. It's just like anything in life, man. You just stick to it and you keep going and you'll make it through. And it was a lot of fun. So I just want to take you down something really quick before I get to this other part. And oh wait, Michael says poor Roxy couldn't catch a break getting booted out today. I know it kept happening, but again, that's one of those things. Just bring her back in on the fly, and it's good to go. So I want to share this really quick before I do the recap and then the giveaways that I'm going to do. So you may or may not know, okay, but Dare to Be Great was born out of the pandemic. But the idea started months prior to that. I was at a conference in Tennessee and I was sitting at a bar and I was sitting there with my good friend Joe McCarville. Awesome, awesome human. That dude, I love that dude like a brother, man. That dude is very cool. And we were sitting there talking, and I said to him, I said, I said, I have kind of this idea. I said, I want to run it by you. And he's like, all right. And I told him, I said, a lot of people have said, I wish I could go to your class, but I wish I could go to, so and so's other class too. But you're at the same time. I wish you guys were all in one place so I could see all of you. But I have to choose, and I hate that. And I said to him, I said, I want to come up with some sort of conference or something where we're all there. So people don't have to choose. They'll be able to see everyone. And he says, "That's a great idea, man." He goes, "But I just I just wonder like that would be tough for us to do because we're all over the place. And we would have to figure out a time that we're all in the same place or can do this." And I said, "Well, as long as you think it's a good idea, I'm gonna keep kind of figuring it out." I said, "Maybe we could do something virtually, but I don't know that there's a platform out there that can do something like that." Months go by and then the pandemic happens. Everything goes to hell. Everything's being canceled. And then I start thinking, well, this is this could probably work. Like I think this is when we could put this into place. And I was looking at all types of platforms. None of them did what I wanted them to do. And I had recently started a Patreon account. And I remembered out of nowhere, there was one thing that I had written down that I was trying to remind myself to go back to because there was a platform on there that Patreon had suggested, something kind of new that Kevin says it all went to hell in a handbasket. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Lockdown, everything was crazy. And I went back to it because it was like Patreon had been putting out all of these different ways that you can reach out to your communities that you're building and stuff, and Crowdcast was one of them. And I was like, I need to go back and look at that because I think that I could possibly use it. And I was reading through it and I thought, this is exactly what I need. And I started um attending some of their workshops that they were doing daily because there were a lot of different businesses, organizations, and stuff like that that were looking at doing things virtually because everything was canceled. No one could go anywhere. And I got a hold of my good friend Leah, who's out of Michigan. And I said, I want to tell you about this really quick. What do you think? And she goes, this sounds awesome. I said, can you help me with it? She goes, whatever you need, I'm there. So, Leah, if you're watching, and I already told you this earlier today, I sent you a message, but I love you, dude. Thank you for helping me all of this time and for believing in me right in the beginning when I mentioned it to you. She started jumping on as well, and we were watching and watching, and they would, the people that were putting it on, Crowdcast, they would allow for people to come on and just ask questions if you wanted to be on live. And they're like, "Don't be shy." And I was like, "My bitch ass is not shy. I will get up there because this is something that I want to do, but I need to figure it out to make sure that it's going to work." Now, at the time, I didn't know that you could do just one event and have one registration for all of the sessions. So I had them all split up on different days. That's why if you go back to the original Dare to Be Great, there's like 3 different registrations. And because I didn't know you could do it all in one. It wasn't until Dare to Be Great 2 that they were all in just one registration, one event. So that first one, I remember there was so much that went into it. So Leah and I are doing all the different stuff, testing and testing and testing. And then I start reaching out to all of these speakers that I had been thinking about from the beginning. And I reached out to my buddy Joe McCarville and I was like, bro, I said, we're doing this and it's coming together. And he was a speaker as well. And we were all going to get a chance to do this, have all of these speakers in one spot virtually and for free so that anybody could watch and partake. And I remember I was freaking out because I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know if people are going to want to even participate or do anything because it was virtual, but I was trying to capture what can be the magic of an in-person conference, but really just not just the education piece, but the networking, because that is so important. The networking piece. And I ended up uh I put this out there and I hadn't been paying attention to numbers at all. And I remember I was still like just nervous and I decided one day, okay, I'm going to look at the numbers. I'm going to see where we're at, how many people. And we were still like a month or so away and or more. I think it was more. It was like months away and we're still trying to put it together and actually it wasn't months. It was only weeks. Yeah, cuz it was out of nowhere. And still yeah, it was either way, it was a short amount of time. But when I finally looked at the numbers and I remember I posted this and I still have the picture somewhere, but I posted this and when I added the numbers together from those registrations, I knew everything was going to be okay because when I added the numbers together, and I shit you not, man, I could not make this up, and I can find the picture to show you all, but it's out there on social media. It's been out there since I posted it. When I added it up, the number that it added to was 911. I just remember sitting back and laughing so hard, but also getting a little bit emotional because I thought that says it right there. Everything is going to be okay. It's going to be cool. We're going to work this out because of the number that it added to. And I thought that's not a coincidence. Like, all right, let's do this. In that first Dare to Be Great, there were over 7,000 attendees from around the world. Wow. Never would have thought in a million years that it would go down like that, but it did. And going into it, I had all those speakers and even on the weekend, I had all of them come on so that I could train them how to use it, what it was like, what it was going to be like for them coming in because I had already taken part in some of those virtual events and no offense to anybody, but some of those early ones, other ones that I was a guest on or I was a speaker for, it was just really wonky. and people were getting lost and they didn't know where to go. I mean, I got brought into what I thought was going to be our testing spot. And as we're testing, the person who is testing with me says, "Yeah, nobody can see us or anything or hear us." And I said, "Okay." And we're talking. And in the comments, they start blowing up. And I click on it so that I can see what the comments say. And everyone's like, "You guys are live right now. Your mics are hot." And we're like, "Oh." So I tell the person, and that person goes, "Okay, well, they're just gonna have to watch then. They're just gonna have to listen." And I just so I didn't want anybody else to go through that. And if you have been a speaker for Dare to Be Great at all, you know how thorough I am and the list of stuff that I send out because I want everyone to not only be prepared, but I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to feel comfortable because it's an odd thing to be sitting in front of a camera versus being somewhere in person and feeding off the energy of the room, the attendees, and having someone to talk back to and engage. So I wanted people to feel comfortable talking to the camera like they were with a bunch of people, like it was a standing room only room. So I had people coming in and training them and everything. That's why, again, if you have been ever been a speaker for Dare to Be Great or any of the other virtual events that I've done before, in the green room, I talk with you, we laugh, I'll dance, sing, whatever, because I want you to feel comfortable going into this because it's not easy just talking into a camera and being the way you would be in person and, just really dialing in and getting into it. So that's why I like to joke with people and get people feeling comfortable and everything. I mean, just a few days ago, now I would say pretty good friend of mine, Dalen Ryan, it was her first time doing a virtual event. And when we were in the green room, she's just like, I'm just kind of, I've never done this before. So I'm trying to get myself. And I said, well, you want me to, let's dance. Let's New Kids on the Block it, or let's TLC it. Let's jump in there. And we were laughing. And it was so awesome. She's like, all right, I'm ready. She's like, let's do this. So again, I just wanted everyone to feel comfortable. So we had gone through all that training in the beginning, and then when we went through it and we were done, oh man, it was one of the coolest things, coolest feelings, just all of it, man. It was so cool. And then I did a second one like 4 months later. That's why sometimes people are like, "Is this the fourth one?" Because it's only 2024 and you started this in 2020, but you're calling it Dare to Be Great 6. No, it's because I did multiple in a year. Because there was so many people who wanted it, and we just continued with the virtual. So then I did Dare to Be Great 3, and I said, "That's it, 3 and out." It was a trilogy. We did our thing, done, or so I thought. Because then, and I will call out my buddy Jeremy Demar. He was the one who started it, and everyone ended up taking it from there. He was saying, "You got to do a fourth one, man. DTBG 4, A New Hope." Just like Star Wars. Oh man, it was so it had been going on and going on, but I will say, like those first three, I'm pretty sure it was for the second one. Um, you may or may not know this, but I'm a big pro wrestling fan, and in pro wrestling, um, just like movies, there's a lot of teasers for certain things, and they just kind of leave it up to like, what do you think is going to happen next? I love doing stuff like that. As a storyteller, I love doing like a cliffhanger or teasing certain things. So for the second one, the teaser that I did was Back to the Future Part 2. And it was kind of like the trailer to the movie where it's all black, and you hear the DeLorean going through and the and it comes out, and it's me lifting my glasses, and I said, "Are we back?" And then the music kicks in, and it's Dare to Be Great in, like, the Back to the Future, font. It was so cool, man, and it's like the 3rd one had, I think, like, a Marvel, like, the logo for Marvel is like it is showing all the different comics and stuff, so there was a version of that for, I think, number 3, but it was, like, clips and pictures from the other, Dare to Be Greats, and so I had it like that, um, and and then that was it. I was like, "We're done. We're done with the 3." But this is not what happened, though, is not what I expected to happen, because it wasn't just like the New Hope thing that happened, right? There was other stuff. Again, things that I was not expecting to happen. And what that was going to conferences in person, because now we're back in person, and people saying, "We really want you to bring back Dare to Be Great." And all I could do is just kinda, like, chuckle awkwardly and be like, "What? Wait, what? Why?" Or, "What are you talking about?" And what I kept hearing, and especially at the APCO conference when it was in San Antonio, someone stopped me and said, "Please, please reconsider being done with Dare to Be Great, because there are a lot of my coworkers who don't get to do what I'm doing right now, being at a national conference, or even to a state conference, or even to some training sometimes. And what you were doing with Dare to Be Great, and the fact that it's free and that anybody can watch at any time, whether it's live or on demand, they're able to get that education and see the speakers that they have been wanting to see without having to go anywhere. They can see it at the dispatch center, they can see it at home. And as they're telling me this in my head, I'm like, oh my God, I guess I didn't realize how much of an impact this virtual event has been for folks. So I started thinking about Dare to Be Great 4. But this is what I did. When I finally decided that I was going to do it, because so many people said how much they loved it, how much people needed it, and these sessions, I decided to again start teasing it. So, as I mentioned with pro wrestling, there is a faction, I would say an old school faction, that I have always loved. It was led by the legendary Ric Flair,
Woo!
and the faction is called the Four Horsemen. So, what I started doing for number 4 was I started randomly posting pictures on social media of them, because the pictures of them together, they would go like this all the time. They would just like, that's the representation of the Four Horsemen. They would throw up that four. So I started yeah, Ryan right there. He's like, woo. So I started posting those images enough that people started to wonder what I was talking about. And then I had a few speakers that I had already told that I was going to do this. And I said, I need you to record just a just a selfie video, only a few seconds of you just like going like this with the four. And I created a little video of us, and we were doing that. And I put it out there. And then even more so, people started to think like, "What is he talking about?" And then finally, because I was literally getting text messages from friends and Facebook messages saying, "Are you doing a 4th one? Is that what you're is that what you're doing? Please tell me that's what you're doing. You're teasing stuff again. What are you doing?" And I would go, "I don't know what you're talking about. I just love wrestling. I love Ric Flair and the Four Horsemen. What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Well, what's up with these people?" I'm like, "I don't know. They just maybe they were just copying what I was doing, and I decided to put it in a video and put it out there." And so I wasn't saying anything until finally, after a few weeks of teasing, I just put a square picture that was black and gold. It was all black, and the number 4 in the font that I was using at the time for or that's for Dare to Be Great, because Dare to Be Great is written in a specific font. And I put number 4 in the font, and I just posted it, and people were sharing it. And that right there was the reveal that DTBG4 was coming. Oh, man. I don't think I did any teasing for 5 or even 6, but, uh, I think it's because at the end of 4, I immediately posted up, "Stay tuned next year for DTBG5," and then I said the same thing, after the 5th one, "Stay tuned for DTBG6." So, up until 4, I was teasing all of that stuff, and it was so much fun, man. It was so much fun to see a bunch of folks try to figure out what it was that I was doing, because especially with number 3 and 4, I was teasing the keynotes to the point where for the keynotes on, I think, number 3, I ended up posting 3 circles, and within those circles were other circles with numbers. There were numbers, and the numbers were the initials of each speaker. Nobody knew what it was in the beginning, but there was one person, my good friend Jill Showalter, who figured it out. And she sent me a text message. She goes, "I think these are initials, and these are the people that I think that they are." Jill has been one of the folks that has sent messages to me who's like, "I think you're doing something. I don't know what, but I think you're trying to hint at something." And I would just send an emoji back to her text message with like a wink or something. And she's like, "Yep, you're not going to tell me." I said, "Nope, until you figure out what it is that I'm doing." Oh man. Wait. Jeremy over here says, "Sorry, late to the party, Ricardo." Was 4 where we started using Star Wars references? Yes, A New Hope. Yeah. Because one of the other things that I was gonna do that I did not get a chance to do, in back of my house is this hill, and when you walk up and there's a sunset, it's like it's a reveal almost when you're walking up. So what I was going to do was I was gonna have one of my kids record me walking up the hill to the reveal of the sunset, similar to in A New Hope, where they show Luke when he's standing there and the music is going, and you know the background, the sunset, and all that other stuff. That was going to be one of the teasers. I didn't do it, but I was going to do it and have the music and everything. I wish I would have done it. I had talked about it so much, and it was because of you, Jeremy, because of the New Hope and stuff. And I was gonna do that, but then I thought I'm not gonna be able to share it on social media because it's going to get flagged because of the music. So that was also one of the reasons that I didn't. But either way, all of that build up and it was awesome. Then we go to 5, and then we go to 6, and it hit. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, but I still have all of those promos. I still have all of those videos of when we were training, the bloopers that I put together, the times that we were in the green room and we were laughing and just having such a good time. And so maybe I'll put together a compilation video or something and put it out there for everyone to see. Um, but it has been excellent. And I'm just glad that everyone has enjoyed Dare to Be Great so much because the name is exactly what we were all doing during the pandemic. And that name, beyond the pandemic, is what we continue to do. It's to dare to be great in whatever situation that we're in. This whole week, every session has fit with that continued theme of daring to be great. And it's just been an awesome experience. Like, you don't, a lot of times we don't realize the impact. And I still sometimes, when people say, no, keep doing Dare to Be Great, like like in the comments of just this past week, the comments from just earlier today, people saying like this is still needed. And I think that's one of the things is virtual events aren't really as big as they were during the pandemic and moving on. Somehow, Dare to Be Great continues to be relevant, which is awesome. You've got a lot of folks who are also getting into public speaking and wanting to share their message and basically kind of cutting their teeth on doing it virtually first. And they end up doing it and they just do so awesome. And it's like, this was really your first time? Like, damn. I had a few people, few speakers that it was their first time. And they're like, thank you, Ricardo, for taking a chance on me. It was my first time. I'm like, you wouldn't know that it was your first time because that was pretty good. Everyone this week, whether speaker, industry partner, sponsor, which thank you to all the sponsors. I wouldn't be able to do this uh, because the platform is not cheap. But also everyone who attended as well from around the world. Dare to Be Great wouldn't be what it is without all of you. I might be running it from here, from my command center, but it wouldn't be what it is without all of you and your support. What you do in this profession. I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again and I will always say it. You are all my why. And it's an honor. It is an honor. I don't take it lightly, which is why I pour so much into, especially this week when it comes up, because I want you to have the best. I want you to have what I didn't have when I was in dispatch, easy access to information and resources, and to not feel alone, to know that you have a bunch of people around you that care. So, just recapping today really quick before I get into the giveaways and stuff that I have. Um, Earlier today, we had a session called Hear Us Out. Admin isn't, in quotes, always against you. And it was an excellent session. Oh, Michael says, and we can't thank you enough for doing this. It was truly a great week. Ryan says, you have a huge heart. Thank you both. Thank you both for that. I appreciate it. Um, it's been an experience, man. It seriously has, and it always has been, and a great experience as well. I mean, dude, craziness in a good way. I wouldn't have it any other way either. Like, It's been so much fun, but also to see people connect with each other in the comments. It's like, reach out to me, going to the community and people reaching out to each other there. Um, it's been really good. So that's why I wanted to have this last day as well to do panel discussions. I'd never done panel discussions virtually before, and I wanted to add this because there were some pretty important topics that I wanted to have out there, and it was super cool, and it worked. It all worked. So hear us out. Admin isn't always against you. Just really quick, the summary here just says the panel brings together directors of 911 centers to dive into the often unseen challenges of leadership in emergency communications. As leaders, we face constant pressures from balancing operational needs to navigating staff expectations. We'll discuss the barriers we encounter, including the difficult, sometimes unpopular decisions we must take. Hour and a half. Each one of these sessions were an hour and a half. Hour for the panel, about 30 minutes for Q&A, and there was so much information. The point of this session was it was kind of a, kind of what I wish I knew going into being in this position of leadership, because a lot of us at one time maybe thought was, are those that are in leadership against us? Like, what's going on? What don't we understand? So this was basically a panel to bridge that gap of communication between, frontline supervisors, CTOs, all of it, and those in a director or deputy director spot or whichever. Finally bridge that gap of communication so that we can all understand what's going on. I mean, basically the way you can think about it as well is when I was in dispatch, one of the things that, and they still do it, we would have to do a ride along with PD so we could see that side of it. Well, after a while, PD was doing sit-alongs so that they could see the side of our side of it, and then other disciplines of public safety were coming and sitting along as well. Or we would do dinners, and they would be in there as things are going to hell. But it was to bridge the gap between all of us so that we knew what it was like for either side, and it helped. So that's what this discussion was as well. So make sure to go back and check it out. The next one was with my good friends out of Eaton County 911 in Michigan, Kelly Cunningham and Libby Howland. And their session was called Staffing in the 911 World: How to Hire and Develop Quality Employees and Create a Desirable Work Environment to Encourage Lifelong Careers. Again, another powerful session. So much information in there and QR codes all over the place. They do not gatekeep. They have tons of information. And as people usually say with certain things, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, man. Like, we're here to help each other. And that's exactly what they were doing. They were talking about how they do things, but also offering a shit ton of information and resources for all of you to be able to take advantage of. And they say it right out, like, you'll see the template. All you have to do is, remove our logo and our name, and you can use it as well, because they have seen such great results with what they have, and they want you to have those results as well. So that's another one there. Thank you very much for putting all of that together. And I was blown away by the amount of information. The last time I was there visiting them, their yearbook alone, they call it their yearbook, but it's excuse me, it's a book. The reason they call it their yearbook is basically because all of their folks are in there, and the way the pictures are, it's like a yearbook. But also within there is information about, like, how many calls they've taken, the agencies that they cover, also pictures of, let's say, their community events. There are tons of things in there. And what they were saying as well is when it comes to time to vote for the millage for them, they have all that information there. that they can share with people to be like, this is what you're voting for. Like, this is all the stuff that we do. It's awesome. Take a look at it. Check it out. It's there. The next session was the Nina Wellness Program. Shout out to Nina. Thank you for everything. And that was with Roxy, Courtney, and Cassie. Each one of them sharing their story and how they got to being a part of the wellness program, what it entails, what it's about. But the stories that they shared were powerful. And it really was eye opening and was a good companion to everything that they were talking about. But also that there's another resource out there. The wellness continuum, like all of it that they were talking about, check it out. All of that stuff is there for you. Check it out. Now, the final session, the final panel discussion. Oh, if you were in there, holy shit. That one was that was something. They were all powerful, right? They were all really good. This one was deep. Gary says this was the most tear-jerking DTBG yet. Yeah. Yeah, there were a lot of stories, a lot of people, a lot of speakers sharing, a lot of people in the audience sharing. Again, those dare to be great moments where you think you're knocked down, or maybe you feel as though you're knocked down, but you claw your way back up and you keep going. And that's a lot of what we heard this week. Again, those dare to be great moments. So, this last panel, as Roxy says down there, holy moly, yes, it was an hour and a half of us talking. The session was called No Dispatcher Left Behind. And that was it was myself, it was Roxy, and good friends, Aaron and Cinnamon, who are co hosts from and founders of After the Tones Drop podcast. It was just last week that I got a hold of them and I said, I'm putting this thing together. I know kind of know what we want to do with it, but I would really love to have the both of you on here because they're both first responder clinicians and work with a lot of folks on their mental health and wellness and so many different things. They've spoken to so many different first responders. I have been a guest on their podcast as well, and I love them. They're out of Ohio. They're the best. They're really cool. Make sure to check them out. Check out After the Tones Drop podcast. You will not be sorry. They are awesome. And so this discussion we knew was going to be pretty deep, and I had come up with an outline just to kind of keep us um on what we were going to be talking about and doing, but I didn't share the messages that I read during the session. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to get everyone's reaction, that true reaction right off the bat. And it was enough where I had sent Erin a message and I said, "Hey, look forward to talking to you later." She's like, "Yeah, us too. We're stoked. We're all about it. I'm just still not quite sure the questions you're going to be asking us because I all I had put on there was after reading this first message, what stands out to you?" So that's all they had to go off of. So when we got into the green room, I explained more and they're like, "Oh shit." And I said, "Yeah, this is what we're going to do." And I said, "The second message is a lot longer." I said, "But it'll be it'll be good. So let's go through this." So for those who are here right now watching and listening, I just want to read the oh, they're over here on Instagram. They're saying, "Thank you for all you are doing for this community. What a beautiful thing you created." Thank you so much for that. Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. But seriously, check out what check out Aaron and Cinnamon after the tones drop. They're all over social media, so make sure to check them out. Um, so we end up jumping in, and so here's the summary. I just want to read this for all of you. So it says it is it has been said that it takes a special type of person to work as a 911 professional. The mission to serve and the love for this profession quickly get into your blood. But what happens when the mission ends? For some, we may feel lost. Who am I now? When the voices haunting or when the voices of haunting calls return, who can we reach out to? We can reach out to our 911 family. However, once we are out, some of us feel as though we can no longer reach out to them. Some of us are left struggling alone. In this session, we will explore what people go through when they leave dispatch and how others have overcome these challenges, ensuring that no dispatcher is left behind. So we started out just kind of talking about um, what it was like. I mentioned when I left that it was weird. Like I felt like, and even before I left uh, dispatch to go to the private side and work in 911 as an industry partner, I felt like I was betraying my 911 family. Like I was just leaving them in the dust, and I guess kind of thinking like, man, they're going to hate me cuz I'm going. But that was all in my head. It was in my head. And none of them thought anything bad. None of them. No, not one of them thought that, "Oh, fuck you, dude, you're leaving," or whatever. That was in my head. I was the one thinking that, and that's where my fear came from. It was my friends in 911 and at my center who were like, "No, dude, like, go and do your thing. You're gonna help us in a way and 911 as a whole with the stuff that you're doing. Choose you, basically." And I did leave, but it wasn't an easy thing, man. It was not an easy thing. So that part, like, definitely no. I mean, when the day or a couple days later, when I had started my new job and I was working from home until I moved out to Indiana to work in the office and such, I'm sitting at my desk with a pad of paper and a pen, and I'm ready to write if I need to take extra notes. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? I'm not in dispatch anymore. What am I doing? And I had like 6 drinks in front of me, like bottles of water, energy drinks, coffee, waiting for phone calls. No one's going to call me. But it was so ingrained in my brain that even with what I was doing in this next job on the private side of 911 as an industry partner, I was ready to go. But it was an interesting thing. Keely says, "Oh my god, ha ha ha! I'm still doing this. See, I'm not the only one." In reference to this session, though, a friend of mine that I was talking to last week, I was telling this person about this session that was coming up, and they said, when I left dispatch, I I had to learn how to feel again. And I sat there as I was listening to this person tell me this, and I thought, "Holy shit, I kinda had to do the same thing," and I never realized. It wasn't to a large scale, excuse me, but a little bit of it was there where I was trying to learn how to feel again, and what I mean by that was And this person kind of explained it the same way, was they had been so dialed in and in tune with feeling for everyone else that now when it was time to feel for themselves, they didn't know how to do it. What? But then as I was listening, I thought, I kind of I think I dealt with that a little bit myself. Just never realized. And that's kind of what the point of this discussion was as well, is that for some folks, when you do decide that you're, either going to change careers or you're just basically retiring, where do you go from there? Who are you now? Like, you spent all this time, all of these years with people and serving, but in some places and for some people, not all, for some people, they're just completely cut off. Nobody talks to you anymore. Yet you were with folks for so many years. And then you're just almost as if you're just tossed to the side after living and experiencing some of the hardest shit that no one can ever experience or know because they've not lived that. I still sometimes when I'm talking with some of my old coworkers, I will send them a message just randomly sometimes to say, "Hey, how are you doing? How are things going in dispatch? I miss you. I miss working with you. We had so much fun working together even when shit was hitting the fan. I knew that I could count on you and that you could count on me. And that we have experienced things that no one will ever understand, but we will. Just wanted to say hi." And they'll send a message back. And you know what? I'll go ahead and say her name. My friend Trista, my friend Megan, Whitney, a lot of these folks that I worked with in Allegan, I will randomly send them messages sometimes. And because I'm saying it out loud now, I will send them a message when I'm done with this here today. And we'll talk about some of the times that we had, not specific calls, just the times that we had where we were just sitting there talking. That's what we talk about. We might talk about an incident here and there, but it's usually when we were sitting there and some funny ass shit happened. Like when I was a supervisor and one morning I was supposed to be the one, I came in early to grill a bunch of brats for everyone. It was like, I think Memorial Day weekend or something. And we had a hot call come in, and there was a hot call out in the balcony too, because I had to run my ass out there to save as many of the brats as I could because I had to come in to help out and they were still cooking. There were so many that burned. But those are some of the things that we talk about. And I feel like if we could still reach out to folks, those that have left, people wouldn't feel so alone or as though they were simply cut off or that they're no longer 911 because they're gone. And what I mean by gone is just like not in the profession anymore. So if you didn't get a chance to check out all of the sessions, but especially this one that I'm talking about right now, check it out. It was deep. It was a powerful one. And I will say this really quick. And this is another friend who I know from dispatch out of Michigan. And I told her as soon as we were out of the closing green room for that last session, I said, I'd been hanging on to your picture. I said, "I'm going to explain later to you." I said, "I just want you to know that I shared it and thank you, and you hold a special part of my heart. I appreciate you." We had been talking a bit about this stuff as well, and I think she kind of felt it a little bit. She's still in the profession and she's, doing stuff as an industry partner on the private side. But there's always a part of us that'll be there with dispatch. And she goes, I took a picture of this kind of a play on your project I am 911 where you had people putting the hashtag I am 911 on your hand just to humanize that voice within the trenches of 911 to show people like we're human, man. We're just like you. This is us. This is what we do. Not so much that this is just our identity, but this is what we do, and we're important as well, and we do matter, and our stories matter as well. So for anyone out there, and I told her I was going to save this and share it, and I hadn't had the chance to share it yet, but during that session, I shared it because I thought it was a perfect moment to do so with the stuff that we were talking about, and I'm going to share it now, the stuff that I'm talking about now, and it's perfect because she goes, even though I'm not per se in dispatch, even though I'm not in 911, and for those who are out there who are the same way and might feel as though they're not anymore, just know that you are, that I am still 911. So that's my good friend Krista there. And it was perfect to be able to share it because she's right. If you're watching this and you're out and you feel alone, you are not alone. You are still 911 and you will always be. So it was an excellent week. An excellent week. Stories, sessions, people coming together, learning from each other, taking emails down to reach out to each other to learn more. That is what Dare to Be Great is all about. That's what it's always been about. And I thank each and every one of you for making Dare to Be Great what it is. It's always been for dispatch, by dispatch, and it always will be. There's 6 of them out there. Hundreds of hours worth of free continuing education. And everyone is already posting hashtag DTBG7. Someone even said in the comments here that if you create it, we will come. So just like pro wrestling, never say never. I don't know what's going to happen. I will say this, I was dead set on just it being done. But with the amount of people who have said Ryan says Field of Comms. That was funny right there. That was good. Um with the amount of people who have said what they have said, um I'll just say this, it is something to think about. And Gary's like, "So you're saying there's a chance?" So many movie references now. I love it. Um, yeah, I'll just say I don't know what's going to happen, man. I don't know what's going to happen. Um, I'm just glad that wait, Roxy says I have cornfields for promos. Oh man. See, now you're appealing to my wanting to tease things side, and that would be a cool way to do it. It's like a Field of Dreams. Oh, my lord. You know, it's humbling, um, and awesome just to see how much this virtual event, um, means to everybody. I'll say that because, I didn't expect DTBG to have such an impact on everyone. So it's thank you. So again, all I'm saying is you never say never. I don't know. I don't know. Um, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, because there's a lot of stuff coming up. There's a lot of things that I'm working on, things that I can't say yet, but, I guess you never know. So, Roxy says 7 is lucky. Oh, man. No, seriously, I appreciate all of you because, again, Dare to Be Great wouldn't be what it is without all of you. I mean, when we ended, there was 1,013 people from around the world, and that's just from this week. There's gonna be even more after this week that continue. The other thing that's gonna happen, and it happens with every single Dare to Be Great, is that first day, like Monday, because every morning this week, we have been getting together for all of these sessions, and it's always that first Monday afterwards where you're like, "All right." Like, "What now?" So prepare for that. Let's see. Chris over here says I was texting a colleague of mine earlier today saying how I felt like my 911 family grew by leaps and bounds this week. So thank you to Ricardo, all the presenters, and other attendees. Hashtag I am 911. Thank you for that. Oh, that that's the impact of Dare to Be Great and all of these folks who have come together. So again, without all of you, Dare to Be Great wouldn't be what it is, but also without all of the speakers, industry partner sponsors, like everybody, it wouldn't be what it is. So I appreciate all of you. Ryan says, and we will be, or no matter what you do, Ricardo, it'll be great. We will be behind you. I thank you. Karen, hey Karen, good friend, Rapid SOS. She's a great job, dude. What a way to do it. Thank you. Yeah, it has been awesome. So, if you have been following all week or even the few days before, and I think I reposted yesterday, um, there there was a piece that I put out for giveaways, and that's what we're gonna do next as we close out. And so there are several giveaways that I have, and this first one, and I don't think I have it here. So to show you, hold on a minute. No, I don't have it here. So either way, um, Gary, as long as it includes DTBG7. Oh man. Um, so I on the store at the store on the Etsy store, I have journals, and the journals are, I mean, they're just like about this big, and they're all black, and they have the I am 911 logo on it. The reason I wanted to do journals is because I tell people that get into journaling. If you have not done journaling before, get into it because um, when you're having those crap days, when you've taken hard call after hard call after hard call, and maybe one day you're just sitting there like, am I in the right place? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? You can look back into that journal, write down your wins because you can go back during those crap days and you can remember all the good things that you've done. Sometimes we forget those good things. There's a lot of bad that's in 911, right? But there's a lot of rewarding things too. And sometimes it just takes a moment to reflect. And that's why I have those journals out there. So this first giveaway is going to be for a journal, and the entry for the giveaway was on that post. I've got like 50 or 60 names that were that ended up doing what they needed to do for the giveaways that I'm doing right now. Um, but on Instagram, one person did it. Okay, one person. Nobody on X did it. All of them except for that one on Instagram did this on either the podcast Facebook page or my personal one. So all of these names are taken from there, except for the one who did it on Instagram. So I'm going to do more giveaways probably next week as like a Christmas thing, but this one is specifically for from that post. All right. So if you didn't do that post and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't see it or whatever, next week I'm going to be doing another one. Or maybe I'll do one this weekend for during open mic. I don't know. Either way, it'll be like a Christmas one or something. But so don't feel like you're left out or you're missing out or anything. Well, the one thing though is that this giveaway that I'm doing for this week that was part of those posts, that if you got a hold of him and you did what I had on there, that was your entry. There's a grand prize for that one, and the giveaway next week won't have that grand prize because I don't have that much money to do the grand prize twice. Okay, so I apologize, but either way, here we go. So the first one is for a journal. I've got all the names in here. Here we go. You probably can't hear it, but I can hear it. It's just like a spin wheel thing. All right. So Hannah Sandy won the journal. All right. Woo! Excellent. Excellent. All right. So, and actually, I'm going to put this in the comments. All right. There it is. The next one is going to be an MTV. Well, it's not MTV. It's oh, you can't see it in the screen. Okay, so I have a nod to the original MTV logo. It's a big M, but instead of it, having just the TV on there, it has AM 911. So or the I. So it's I am 911, but the M is like the MTV M type. So I made a version of it for I am 911 and within the trenches, but it's got a pillow and a throw for it. So that is the next one. Here we go. All right. Here we go. We've got our winner. Next winner here is Sarah Stroud, and if any of you know them, the majority of the people here I know. So I said that you have to be present to win, but I know all of these people, so that's where we're going. The other one, the last one though, that one is going to be the one that you got to be here for. So Sarah Stroud won the I am 911 MTV Pillow and Throw. Boom. All right. There we go. Just make sure that I put that in here really quick. Now, the next one here is going to be for a mug. I've got a choice of a bunch of different mugs, whether it be Sons of Dispatch, Daughters of Dispatch, Dispatch Zombie Squad. I've got so many of them. Also, all of these, if you go to the link that's right there, and scroll all the way to the bottom, all of these items are available on my store as well. All right, so here's the next one. Next one for the mug. All right. So Rebecca Michelise, if I butchered your last name, I apologize. Um, but Rebecca won a mug. Yeah, well done. All right. Again, I want to make sure that I'm writing them in here. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Next one is going to be for an I am 911 travel mug. There it is. So, Christy, Langford done. I am 911 travel mug. All right. And that mug is this one that's right here. And I believe that one's in the store as well. I'll have to double check. But either way, these are ones that'll just be simply like sent out. So let's see. Langford done. All right. So next one. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, snap. All right. So the next one, this giveaway, this one I can actually reveal it right now. Um, awesome. Okay. So this one here was won by Ruth Lagerquist. Hello, Ruth, if you're watching. You just won my version of Imagine Listening Volume 1. That's right. It's in. I ordered them and they just arrived. They arrived during the second to the last panel. Boom. This is my version and it is gorgeous. Oh, I am. Yes. So, Ruth, you end up getting before anyone else because this book is available for pre-order right now. And it doesn't launch until February 16th, 2025, which is the anniversary of the first 911 call that was placed in Haleyville, Alabama. Thought it was a good day to pick for it to launch. So it's available for pre-order, but it'll be out soon. All right, so next one. Oh, no way. Okay, so hold on a minute here. So the one person on Instagram that did this, they're the next winner. Oh, let me see. Are they in here? So for Instagram, I'll get a hold of them here, but I just wanted to put in the comments over there on Instagram. So the winner for the next one was an Imagine Listening Volume 1 and 2 book bundle, and that goes to Kid at Heart 143 from over on Instagram. So there you go. That's for that one. And second to the last giveaway, folks. Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right. Ooh. All righty. Kristen Earhart is the next winner. And Kristen won the it's an I am 911 blanket and pillow. It is super soft, really cool. Congratulations, Kristen. All right. All right, folks. Here we go. Next one. Let's see. Let's see what we got. All right. Let me see here. I think uh Chris is it Carleton? Carlton? Carleton? I'm sorry. I completely butchered your name. Um are you in here? You were in here a moment ago. Yes, you are here. Okay. There we go. Chris, you are the winner of the grand prize, which is a registration to the ranch September 2025 in Texas. That is what you just won. That was the uh that was the grand prize. Wanted to make sure you were in here. So, now here's the thing. I will reach out to you so we can get this figured out. Again, this is September of 2025. This is going to be in Bandera, Texas. Now, I will say this, like you got to get your way to there. You got to figure out how to get there, of course. You will play or pay your for your flight and stuff, your travel. However, your food is taken care of, your lodging is taken care of for that entire week being at the ranch, the Mayan Ranch, for the 911 leadership training event that is put on by Mr. Joe Serio of the 360 Dispatcher, and along with Amy Patan. I will be there as well as the closing instructor, and I'm excited for you. Let me write this down in my notes as well here. And again, I will reach out to you. Give me Don't worry, it's not going anywhere. The spot is already saved. But give me a couple days because I've been doing shit all week. Just know you got it. You've got the registration, and it's going to be awesome, dude. It is going to be great. I will get a hold of Joe and Amy as well to let them know to mark you in for your name, and I'll get some information from you, like your agency and like all the other good stuff that they might need, and either way, we'll get it all figured out. And congratulations to all of you for being here and for this entire week of Dare to Be Great. It has been so much fun, and I can't say enough. Um, just having you all behind, all behind me, all the support rather, um, and not behind me at all. That's not what I mean. I mean by my side, because we're all. I see all of us on the same level, right at my side, marching through this crazy profession that we're in, and your support just means so much. So thank you. It has been an amazing week, and thank you for everything that you all do in this profession. I know I say that a lot, but I mean it every single time I say it, because this is not an easy profession. Um, it's definitely a tough one, but as long as we can stick together and continue to communicate with each other and reach out, we're gonna make it through this shit, and things are gonna be okay. If you haven't heard from someone in a while, reach out to them. Just send a little text message. Or if you've recently had folks move on to other professions or whatever, just send a message. Just say hello. You never know what someone is going through. And who knows? Maybe you're the one that someone is going to reach out to see how you're doing. Because again, nobody knows what we're going through. All it takes is for us to say something. So thank you, all of you, again, and for the support, for being by my side all this time. And we're going to continue to do cool shit and be there for each other. As for DTBG7, I have no idea. I don't know. Who knows? What I do know is that all of you came together this week and supported each other and the speakers and the industry partners, but especially just for each other, man. Everyone came together. Over 1,000 people from around the world came together in support of each other. And I said it earlier, and I will say it again. Continue to dare to be great. I love you guys. Have a good night, and I will see you all in the next one. But what next one do I mean? I don't know. But we will see you all very soon because open mic is coming up as well. So be awesome. Enjoy the weekend. And I will talk to you all soon. Woo! Check you later.